Welcome to the small scale group build being hosted by BG and Model Car Guy's channel, Sean at Model Car Guy. We're looking at our build here, just taking a look at what kind of work we're going to have to do to the body in order to get this thing to sit right. And I can see already that I'm going to have to cut the front end of the chassis and the rear end off in order to get the body lines to sit right, as I'm going to have to glue the front together, seal all of that up, do quite a bit of sanding to eliminate all of these seams and get that to sit right. And in the rear, we got pretty much the same thing going on. It's not a horrible fit, but there are a few gaps in there which are going to have to be taken care of before we can call this thing anywhere near where we want it. Now, that just snaps into place. Let's pull this out. We have our two locating pins here, which are going to fit into the body here. Now, let's take a quick fit here. First thing we're going to do is to snip off the actual first bit of work done to this kit. And snipping that off. Now, let's take a look and check the fit of the interior. Here and here. That's a bit of a tight fit. That just kind of snaps into place. That's not a bad fit at all. Now, let's see the fit of the chassis with the interior in it. We're just test fitting right now, looking at where our issues may be with this kit. Been watching quite a few videos from some of the other guys in this group build and really looking forward to seeing what they come up with. There we go. We have that in there. We have this here. We tuck that right in there. And here it is. The entire interior chassis and body put together. And I'm already seeing a few issues here. There we go. And here we have a nice fit here. So it looks like everything's going to fit and line up as good as it's going to, but it's definitely going to need quite a bit of work. So this rear is going to have to be cut. And the front's definitely going to have to be cut and glued here. I did something similar to the Speed Racer Mach 5 build I did a while back. You can see that on the channel. Alright. There's a little bit of flash, so we're going to have to clean up around the windows. And then we give this whole thing a good bath. Clean it up. Now let's check the fit of the dashboard. Okay, nice fit of the dash. All right. Now, only colors I have right now figured out is this NATO black, probably for the chassis. Rubber black is going on the wheels, as we're going to definitely have to paint these wheels, and good old rubber black's going to come in for that. Now we're probably going to be stripping this chrome. Matter of fact, we are going to be stripping this chrome. We're going to be stripping everything here, and then we're going to be redoing the chrome ourselves. Alright, let's just take a little bit of work here to clean up all of these seams, and then start the cutting of the front end, which is going to be a little bit tricky here. The front, not so much. The rear is going to be a little tricky because of all of the turns and that are back here and the way it runs into the exhaust. So it is going to be a little bit tricky in the rear. But the front shouldn't be so bad. And then we can just easily glue that to there and we'll be done. Alright guys, so this is our beginning of the small scale group build hosted by BG at BG Model Works and Sean at the Scale Model Car Guy channel. And we're going to get into it. So there's a whole bunch of guys doing a whole bunch of builds and I'm watching every video as I work. So let's get ready to rumble. Alright guys, I'm going to go start prepping these parts. Alright, we're going to start with the first thing we're going to do is the trickiest, which we're going to cut the front end off of the chassis. I've already been using my X-Acto knife. We're using the back of the blade to etch and cut right into the plastic. Figure we may as well do this first because if we don't do this right, we're going to ruin the whole kit. And then there's no point in going any further. So just a few scrapes back and forth. And we're slowly getting right through. Now we're going to take a trial fit here. Now the tricky part's going to be just lining everything up. And then applying the glue to hold it right where we want it. Right there is going to be our opening move on this group build. I already see that there's going to be quite a bit of work to do on this front end. Just to make sure that everything lines up right. As you can see there, we're trying to line up the marker lights together. Along with the front bumper. So we're going to work from one side to the other. Where's our... We're going to be using our Tamiya quick setting. And there we go. It's not going to be a perfect fit as we'll let that just go right into the cracks and crevices using capillary action to fuse the parts together. Tamiya is that it fuses the plastic because it melts it together. So it becomes one solid piece of plastic as opposed to several parts, which means that it'll bond itself to each other and get stronger. That will be our front end. As you can see, now we have one complete front end, and we're just going to have to do quite a bit of sanding and filling and cleaning up to make that look right. But it's not too bad for the first thing we do. All right, that takes care of that. And now we have to cut our rear, which is going to be a bit tougher. I'm going to have to do basically the same thing we did before, but this is going to be a little bit tougher. We may have to break the saw out for this one. Small cut here. There we go. And here we have our rear. And the chassis separated. Now we're gonna have to do a little bit of cleaning up here. That's a little bit better. And a little bit here. Now let's just see what our fit looks like. Oh, very nice. Cut's not too noticeable. And we can put probably a little piece of sheet styrene between the two. And there we have almost a perfect fit for the front. Now let's glue our rear bumper in place. Here is where I try and fit the rear end on. Gave me a little bit of trouble just holding it in place, but after a little while I got it to sit right where I wanted to, and then I just started adding the Tamiya cement, and the rest went pretty smoothly. After I dropped it a couple of times, of course, but other than that, it went great. Thing about this is using this type of glue is that you do have to give it time, even the quick setting stuff, to solidify and harden, or it'll just remain flexible and it'll turn to a gooey mess. So I'm thinking that the approach of doing one section at a time is going to be what's going to work here, as opposed to trying to glue it all together at once. Didn't really think about the tail lights, so that's going to be a little tough to get in there. Okay, we're going to have to figure that out. Didn't really give that a lot of thought. Oh well, too late to go back now. There we go. Alright, so now... Ah, shoot, I moved it. See, now that's what I mean. You gotta give it time to solidify. Whereas like this, the front is now one solid piece of plastic, which is pretty much what we need to get from the rear. The rear is a little trickier though to line everything up, so this is why we have to give it a little extra time. that's going to do it for the first day of our build, as we now have the front and rear fascias, or front and rear ends of the car, attached to the body. Now we're just going to have to wait for all of that to cure nice and solid before we start sanding it down and reshaping the front and the rear end. And let's see if we would need some filler to go along with that, or if this will be enough. So stay tuned, guys, as day one has started. Now we're going to do some cleaning up of the body. Probably going to scribe these panel lines a little more, and then we'll call it a night. So we'll be back again in the next installment of the small scale group build. So remember, like, subscribe, you know, follow along, see how this turns out, and follow along with all the other guys who are doing the group, who are involved in this group build, as there's a whole bunch of really cool stuff that's getting done. All right, guys, that's it, and I will see you on the next one.